Hey cats, it's Ed Toothache Bud here, the world's fastest but also weakest man. Today I've got my Bristol half marathon training and race preview for you. Really looking forward to this one over in Avon. Don't worry, it's only Avon calling. Bristol half marathon coming up, talking training, talking preparation, and of course shoes. You gotta have the shoes. I just can't decide. Thanks for tuning in, Earthlings. It's always appreciated. Do hit that subscribe button and also give this video a thumbs up like. Drop us a comment too to help with the algorithm. Dankeschön. I can't wait to get over to Bristol on the 19th of May. I've been looking forward to this race for too long. It's sold out as well. So close to get to. It's only about 40 miles down the road. I shall be up at the crack of dawn to get over there. I've done the Bristol half marathon a couple of times before with varying results. Back in 2021, I ran 1 hour 31:48. with temperatures around about 15 degrees C. The next time I did it in 2023, I found it much more difficult for some reason. I think it was slightly cooler that day as well. I managed 1 hour 34:37. Similar weather conditions really, but perhaps a bit more direct sunlight and a westerly wind. What you need is a slight northerly wind. It always seems to help me whenever I run. Looks like it could be a bit wetter this time around though, looking at the long range forecast. Certainly could have some rain or at least light drizzle or something on the initial part of the race. It doesn't bother me though, I absolutely love running in the rain. Back in March of this year I did run the Yeovil half marathon and achieved my best half marathon time to date. Almost 800 foot of elevation on the Yeovil half. I ran 1 hour 31:03. So I am confident that I'm in good form and the fitness is there to achieve something even better. The Bristol half marathon course is much flatter, much simpler, and I know it well now. There's some good straights there to really take advantage of to boost the time. The event is sold out now for both the half marathon and the 10k. I think there's about 15,000 entries, so it's going to be nice and busy, very exciting, probably helpful as well having a few more people out there. I bet there's a load also trying to go for that sub 130. So perhaps I can time with a few others there and help to pace off them. The start of the course is reasonably wide. There's 3 separate waves, so I shouldn't have to sort of weave and bob around too many people at the start. Do want to get away quickly, no hold-ups on that one. You head up the Portway across the mouth of Avon, or Avon Mouth if you're that way inclined. That stretch of the course is nice and straight with very limited elevation there. Good main roads, there's no potholes to navigate, and you know how I get on with those. Good opportunity to make some headway and bank some time for later on when the going gets a bit tougher and the body is lower on fuel. I did notice looking at the map of the course there's a very slight change to this one. I think it's between about miles 9 and 10. They've eliminated a small section of cobbled roads. That should make things a little bit easier, especially if you're wearing one of those super squashy shoes, and then you start to get to the end section where it really matters. Training wise, things have been going really well in the build up to Bristol, keeping things nice and consistent through the week, really keeping to an 80-20 type schedule. By that I mean 80% of my running's been reasonably easy, just steady stuff, throwing in some recoveries where they're needed, and then the 20% or 1/5 really at that half marathon pace, really trying to lock into it, make sure that I am happy with it. I'm not going too fast, I'm not going too slow. I'm right on pace, I'm understanding the effort and becoming comfortable with it. Occasionally throwing in some sessions a little bit faster than that at my 10k pace too. Typically do my longer runs on a Sunday because, you know, it's the law, isn't it? No more than 13 or 14 miles really, though sometimes limiting it to 10 miles, throwing in intervals at that half marathon pace. Those seem to work especially well for me, really improves the endurance and that strength, but helping me to lock into race effort. I've really found that difficult in previous half marathons. That was not the case in Yeovil a few months back. I don't know about you guys, but I find it really hard sometimes to feel what it's truly like to be at race effort. When you're training, you've got no other people around you. You know, you can push yourself, but when the adrenaline's not flowing, it just is so much harder. So at least when you're doing those longer runs, you've got a good warm-up under your belt, and I find that I can just get to those race paces and efforts a little bit easier. It just simulates that whole kind of feeling that bit more. I always train with a mind on consistency. I'm not one of these people that will go out running if they have any sort of injury or if they feel inhibited at all. I think to get the best out of those faster sessions, you really want to arrive at them in sort of good form. You don't want to be knackered. It's just not going to work. It's just going to be a bit of a chore. I know there's people out there that do carry on training through injuries and things like that. I just don't really see the point. I enjoy running, and I just don't see the point of training through an injury. It's just going to make things worse. You've got to be honest with yourself and know when to take a rest day and just let things recover a little bit. Also, some people run for the wrong reasons. They get competitive and, they compare themselves to other people. Always run for yourself. The goals that you set are yours, nobody else's. When the legs need a rest, just take a day off. Also, I find there's no point running crazy mileage for half marathons. You might want to go over the distance a few times, a nice easy run, but hammering like 5Ks here and there is not really going to help out. Aim really for me is to keep the body strong, just be comfortable with that target pace, and that's exactly what I've been doing. I did do one 10k race back in April. Again, that was a PR 41:06 over the 10k distance. Bang on the pace there, and the staying power was with me too. 6 minutes 35 per mile. I was really impressed with that. 2 20-minute 30-second 5ks in a row. And yeah, I was feeling really good. Consistency certainly there. Now, that brings me to some of the changes that I've made during my training to get ready for Bristol. Back in February, I invested in a treadmill for the house. That's been a big advantage for me. That way I can run at very specific paces whenever I want to. So it's saving me from heading out into some of the dreadful colder weather. Touch wood. There's got to be some wood around here somewhere. I've managed to avoid any sickness or illness. Always seems to come on that sort of final week before a race. Feeling really, really good right now. Do quite a lot of easy running on the treadmill. Certainly when you've got it in a conservatory or something, it's almost like high heat or humidity training, building up the mileage there, but also allowing me to be a bit more present for the family. That's always tough when you've got a full-time job going on. So having the flexibility to get some runs in at somewhat strange hours sometimes is really beneficial. Sometimes you've got like a window of time that you can get some running in, and that's helped improve the fitness no end and keep the mileage right where I want it. Another thing that I've implemented into my training is the use of the Stride Pod. This has been fantastic, I have to say. Little unit just sits on the very front laces on your shoes. This has helped me to judge my effort based on not heart rate this time, but on sort of power level. It spits out like a sort of optimum power level for various different race distances for you. I found it to be eerily accurate as well with its predictions on race times. I found that most sports watches also don't do a particularly good job of tracking indoor runs. So when I've been using the treadmill, the Stride Pod has really helped me to get a little more accuracy out of what I'm doing. Now, there's a whole rabbit hole I could go down in terms of the treadmill, like in terms of the speed of the motor, the slow down on foot strike, the speed up of the motor once your foot comes off of the running surface. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole today, but having this Stride Pod has shown me some significant stat improvements, and it's helping me to judge the effort that I'm putting in regardless of heart rate, which is really useful. Lastly, over the last year, I've drastically changed my diet. Completely cut out alcohol, only certain types of meat, eat quite a lot of chicken actually, but get a lot of protein from corn products. Also cutting out pretty much all nasty sugary drinks. All these things seem to have helped. A little bit fitter, a little bit clearer of thought, I suppose. Another thing though is keeping myself hydrated. I've been spending a lot more time focusing on that. I think perhaps before I just wasn't taking on enough water during the day, and that was proving quite detrimental to some of the training I was doing. I found that I can reach those higher paces that a little bit more. Everything just seems a little bit more reachable, I suppose. Also spending a bit more time sleeping. Going to bed a bit earlier, maybe even half an hour earlier, it just makes a massive difference to recovery. I've been using the Next Nutrition Nuclear Glyco Power. This is like a powder you add into cold water, shake it up, and you've got an electrolyte drink ready to go. I find this stuff really boosts my recovery no end. In fact, some days I've kind of forgotten that I've run earlier in the morning. I've got back from work and thought, hey, why don't I just pop out for, a nice 3 mile easy run or something. Oh yeah, I ran earlier. And you just forget. So I think I'm certainly feeling more up to the challenge, just more energy there overall. I'm particularly partial to the orange version of that drink, although the blueberry one's pretty decent as well. So yeah, try out either of them. The orange one's kind of like orange sherbet fizz or something. Remember those saucers you used to get? The little flying saucers, yeah, it kind of tastes a bit like those. On the day, I'm probably going to go with a specific shoe. You probably guess what it is. 2 PBs already in the Metaspeed Sky Paris from ASICS. I'm still quite amazed at how light this shoe is. Holding up really well. Probably going to be the one that I'm going to go with. I've been doing lots of training over the last few months in the Alphafly 3 as well. I got this box fresh pair here that are way lighter than that other pair I've got. Just going down a half size really makes quite a difference. Though this shoe's got me 2 PBs, I think I'd be crazy to go with anything else right now. I love the slightly lower drop on this one and the fact that I can really dial in the fit as well. I'll probably end up using the Runners 5 socks from UYN. Those really let the toes spread out somewhat in the toe box, and you seem to get a little bit more push off from them. A little bit heavier, I guess, but there's loads of propulsion here from the AirPods. This one's super light and has grip that is unmatched. Don't think I need to worry too much slipping and sliding out there. Most of the route is on decent tarmac or concrete, and in fairness, I'd want to get a slightly longer run into these before I use them. I don't want to use them box fresh. As you know, with my other pair, I had to get some WD-40 onto the AirPods because they were squeaking after about 10 miles, and I'm not sure I could withstand that for too long. So probably going to go with the ASICS Metaspeed Sky Paris this time around for Bristol. So lots of info there, but what's my prediction? Well, before I make mine, I'm going to ask you to put your prediction, what you think I'm going to manage to achieve at the Bristol Half Marathon this Sunday. So bear in mind the PB's like 1:31.06. Let me know down in the comments as to what you think I might be able to achieve. I'm going to go with 1:29.59. No, I reckon 1:29. I think I've got it in me. Let's do it. Maybe I'll see you there at the Bristol Half Marathon. Are you running? Or perhaps you're spectating. Maybe you're just going to come out and have a drink and watch all the runners go by and have a good rest. When are you racing next? Let me know down in the comments. Very quick musical interlude for you. You guys know I'm a big AC/DC fan. One of the tracks I have on my playlist for Bristol Half Marathon has got to be Rock and Roll Damnation. Well, I love the lyrics of this one. It tells you everything you need to know about what it's like to be in a rock and roll band. Lyrics here: they say that you play too loud, well baby that's tough. They tell you that you look a fool, well baby I'm a fool for you. And the classic line, take a chance while you still got the choice. There's too many people like, oh, I'm not going to do that, you know, because, you know, of stuff. There's other things that are stopping me from going and doing that race or going and playing that gig. One day you might not have the chance, so you got to try and do those things while you got the opportunity. I remember hearing that Andrew WK would do any gig that came in, whether it was on his own, whether it was in front of like one person, he would still do it because it was a gig and it was a chance to do the thing that he loved doing. So remember that next time someone tells you to not go and do something because, you know, everybody else, all the normal people don't do that. Well, okay. Fair enough. Do the things that you love. Do the things that you enjoy, because that's what life's all about, right? Rock and Roll Damnation, AC/DC. Thanks for tuning in, people. It is always appreciated. Please hit that subscribe button. It's free of charge, don't you know? And give this video a thumbs up like too. Comment for the algorithm. My name's EDDBUD, and I'll be seeing you maybe in Bristol.